Welcome to Community Matters. I'm the Maestro, and today we have some fine folks in here from the Broward County Animal Care. Welcome to Cox Media Group.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
Let's start out with you, Doug.
Yes, sir.
Tell me your position, and young lady, you can tell me your position there too as well.
I am the director for the Broward County Animal Care Division.
and I'm the outreach coordinator for animal care.
All right, let's talk about animal care. Let's talk about what you guys do there. What is it about?
We are the only municipal animal welfare agency in Broward County.
Mm-hmm.
We handle all of the things for the county and all the cities in the county. We provide the only animal shelter that's run by a municipal agency. We have code enforcement for enforcing state and county laws and ordinances, including pet licensing. We do animal adoption, return to owners for stray animals that come in. We really want those animals to go back to their owners. So we do all the things we can to get them back to their original owners before we consider them for rescue or adoption. And we also have a lot of resources available for the community, from pet food to vaccinations and microchipping as well.
And your position, young lady?
I'm the outreach coordinator for animal care.
So what does that entail?
So basically, it's just doing like events, things dealing with the community, reaching out, providing resources, things like that.
Let's talk about your foster program.
Yes, sir.
You want to share that with our audience?
We have fostering available in a couple of different facets. We have basically one-day fostering, which is our Broward Buddies program, so that people who can spend a few hours to a day with the dog but can't take them home, they can come in, check out that dog for the day, take them out for walks, take them to lunch, just spend some good quality time with them to get their dog fix if they can't have their own dog at home. And then we have longer-term fostering for up to 90 days, depending on the situation for the dog. Sometimes it's respite care for the dog or the cat, so they can just get out of the shelter and kind of experience a natural home environment, especially if they've been at our shelter long term. And then there are a lot of times when there's been medical procedures and they need some medical recovery time in a lesser stressful environment. So we will send them out to medical foster to get their rehabilitation complete and then come back in for adoption once they're ready.
So you have doctors there that take care, veterinarians should say, that take care of the dogs and the cats.
Yes, sir. We have a full medical staff. We have 3.5 veterinarians and 15 veterinary technicians on staff full time. And so we have medical staff in-house 7 days a week.
Well, what I like about it when I first came is very unique that you guys let people come in and sit with the dog or sit with the cat to get to know that, and then you allow them to walk with them.
Yes, sir. We want you to come in. If you're going to adopt or even sometimes foster, come in and meet that pet and make sure you make that connection, because you want that right connection to take that pet home and be a permanent part of your family.
What are some of the challenges you guys have seen doing this job?
The biggest challenges for us is our space. We are at or in overcapacity, especially with dogs, all the time, which limits our ability to take in more animals when we don't have space. We always make room to take in the sick and injured strays that come into us. But if it's a well stray pet, we will ask the community to help us by fostering until we can make room for them. For the community, I think the bigger challenges is, like everything else, affordability. And being responsible pet owners while navigating that affordability, which is why we assist people with free vaccination clinics a couple of times a month throughout the county, where the only fee that's going to be involved with those free clinics, you get your vaccinations, you can get your microchip, and the only fee is going to be the $25 annual pet licensing fee, which is required by county code. But everything else at those clinics is free to the citizen for their pets.
Now, what I've seen when I pulled up one day to visit you guys, I seen a lot of dogs. And I'm like, well, people must be adopting them. But it wasn't. They were dropping them off. Tell me the case, what happens with that. Is it they drop them off because they can't care for them, or is they dropping them off because the landlord where they're moved to won't let them have pets?
Yeah, like Doug said, affordability is a really big factor for animals coming into the shelter. A lot of times people are, moving to somewhere else, to get better, rent prices. And where they're moving to, they're not allowed to either have their pet, or there's pet weight limits, which a lot of, the dogs that do come in are on the larger side. So that definitely plays a big factor. Sometimes, unfortunately, pet owners aren't able to care for their pets, whether it be medical reasons or just simply being able to, feed the pet. In those cases, we do try to offer resources to keep the animals with their owners. But a lot of the time, sometimes it's just the overall cost of pet ownership. It does drive animals into the shelter.
Let's talk about the foster program registration fee. What's that cost?
There's no pet registration fee for becoming a foster animal or a foster parent with us. It's a free process. You just come in, you fill out the application, understand how the program works, what the guidelines are, and then we'll try to match you with the pet that best fits your capabilities to foster them and give them that respite care or that rehabilitative care that they need while they're in foster care.
Now, let's get down to some business here. When you're dealing with dogs, you just don't deal with dogs. Let's talk about the cats.
Yes.
You want to chime on that?
Yes, I love cats. Certified cat lady here. Yes, cats are great. I think more people should own them. So at our shelter, we do get, surrendered cats, but the main bulk of our cats that come in generally are from situations where either, the owner passes away, or sometimes a lot of the times it's because there may be too many cats that a pet owner may have. So we do get those cats in, and I know a lot of times people come in looking for kittens, but adult cats are just as great. They can be just as playful and equally loving. We also do have a community cat program, so if you have a lot of strays in your neighborhood, we are able to spay and neuter the cats, vaccinate them, give them an ear tip, and then release them back into the community.
How long have you been doing this, Amanda?
So I started with animal care in 2009, so about 15 years.
You love it, don't you?
Yeah, it has its ups and downs, but over the time, yes.
What's the difference between cats and dogs? Either one you can answer that, because I hear a myth, and when you meet Nikki like, they're smarter. I don't know.
They are distinctly different pet experiences.
Really?
And I have several of both.
Wow.
As does Amanda.
I do.
And mine live in harmony together, but they are completely different. Your dogs are always glad to see you. They'll do anything to please you. They're there to be with you as much as you are to be with them. Cats, on the other hand, I have a cat that is the most aloof creature in the world, and he will come to you when he needs something from you, mainly to be fed or to get treats, and then otherwise he has no use for you. And then I've got a cat that is the neediest creature on the face of the earth and will not let you have any separation bodily while you're awake and alive.
Wow.
So similar experience.
Whole spectrum of things there. As far as, though, the pet experience for the general public, if you are a person who wants pets but you have restricted space or you're going to be gone from home for very long days, a cat is probably a much better pet fit for you because they have the litter box and they're pretty much self-sufficient, but they can give you the love that they need. Dogs do need more one-on-one care because they need to go outside or they need to be potty trained, and they're not going to be as well suited for those 12-hour days sometimes, depending on the dog's personality as the cat is. Well, and space-wise also, if you live in a 600-square-foot studio apartment, a small dog or a cat's going to be good for you. But if you live in that 600-square-foot apartment, the Great Pyrenees that's 100 pounds like I own is probably not going to be the good fit. So you want to get the right pet for you personality-wise and environment-wise.
What time do you think a parent should bring a kid to your facility to look at a pet? In the age, I should say.
I think if they're able to walk, once they're walking and talking and kind of cognizant of their own maneuvering, they should be part of that pet meet and greet process because you want to make sure that the pet is good with the kid and the kid is going to be taught to be good with the pet. especially if the kid has never had any kind of exposure. Some kids may be inherently afraid of an animal if they've never been around one before. So you want to kind of gauge all that and navigate it properly before you bring a pet into the home permanently.
Now, I could talk from my experience, like had a dog, and I was watching this program one day on television, doctor and his wife. They were both sharing the same story about pets. And the question came up is, wouldn't you be afraid of your child going towards a dog? And he said, no. And I'm sitting there saying, what? He said, no. And he answered the question. He said, you got to remember, a dog and a kid is crawling like each other, and they're not afraid of each other. They can look at each other. And he was true about that, because when my ex-wife got pregnant, we had our child, that dog laid across that door and would let nobody come in that door but me. Mm-hmm. Did y'all find that like that?
I find animals very instinctively very protective and guarding of their own families.
Yes.
I had a little dog who I brought home from the shelter I worked at the time, who was basically what we classified as a bite dog. He tried to bite everybody. I never tried to bite me. I brought him home. He acclimated to all of my children at the time. When my son and his wife came in and she was pregnant, that dog immediately let my daughter-in-law into the house, into the family. And then when the baby came, he was the first dog that was going to be nearby watching over my baby. Never, ever indicated there would be any issues. Now, we obviously were very guarded with exposure and used a lot of precautions, but that dog watched that child and guarded that child every time he was in my home, because he wasn't going to let anybody near that baby. And the baby was brand new.
Yeah, I witnessed that myself.
It's amazing.
What about cats, Amanda?
Cats, like, they can be pretty aloof. Some cats are more cuddly than others. Definitely like to snuggle up with babies. Always be, careful and make sure they're not smothering the baby. But there are other cats, that tend to just like their space. And they find their space, and they do grow up pretty well with children. I find that cats with small children tend to be a lot more tolerant and kind of go with the flow with their kids.
And
go ahead.
And really the bottom line for all pet owners, with and without children, for cats and dogs, take the time to try to find the pet that matches personality-wise, activity-wise, temperament-wise, you and your family and your kids. But you also need to teach your kids how to be a proper, interactive cohabitant in the house with the pets. A lot of people don't teach their kids manners when it comes to how they treat pets, and that's when a lot of injuries happen, because they don't know how to properly interact with animals, and then sometimes the animal can get hurt and sometimes the person can get hurt, and we never want that to happen for either of them.
Well, let's talk about the major big dogs, pit bulls. They're different, and you're dealing with poodles. They're different. I had both, and I saw the difference between the pit bull and the German Shepherd I had, and I saw the difference between a poodle I had. Poodle was more jealous than anything. If that's the case, you ever seen that before?
Yes.
I mean, I kept figuring out why you tearing my socks up, and the guy had to say, they don't like who was here.
Every animal is different, and they develop their own personalities and their own ways of expressing their likes and dislikes, and you have to take that into account. And obviously, big dogs, pit bulls, Labradors, St. Bernards, Pyrenees, all those larger dogs are somewhat at a disadvantage, because a little dog can do something, and it's not as much of a risk as if a big dog does the same thing. So that's why it's important to teach your dogs good habits and good manners, as well as teaching your kids and your family members good pet responsibilities and good pet manners as well.
So let's talk about some of the dogs that you guys get. All types?
We get all types, from little bitty dogs to big dogs. A majority of the dogs on a consistent basis in our shelter for adoption are large breed dogs, pit bull type mixes. We try to make sure that all of the dogs we go out for adoption are good, sound dogs, and we do our best to make sure that we are very transparent with any dog that you're looking at for adoption or foster, that we're giving you all of the information we have gathered and observed on that dog or that cat before you take them home.
Amanda, let's talk about the myth about the shelter and pets.
So one of the big myths about our shelter or shelters and animals or shelter animals is that, they're not good animals. They were surrendered because, they tear up your house, or they're bad dogs, or they're bad cats. And a lot of the times it's just owners not being able to care for their animals anymore for one reason or another, and they end up in our care. A lot of these animals, obviously, they did come from a home. Someone loved them. They gave love to someone, and they are deserving of another home.
Doug, have you seen in times change since you've been there? I know I've seen it for myself, that pets have become more part of the family more than ever.
Absolutely. I have been in the animal-related field since 1999.
Okay.
And I was in the private industry before I got into the government sheltering industry. And it's like night and day from where it was 25 years ago. Animals now are much more integrated into our families as true family members, and the medical care available to animals now and the other services available for animals now is so much more available than it was 25 years ago, because you've got veterinarians all over the place. You've got animal doggy daycares and boarding facilities and cat programs, so that pet owners have a lot of resources for their pets and for their families. And shelters like ours, we offer far more services now to the community than we did 25 years ago. 25 years ago, most shelters were strictly take in animals, adopt out what you can, and do the best you can. But now we have food resources. We have vaccination resources. We provide guidance on how to find veterinarians and how to look for breeders and how to look for all these different things, and also try to help you understand how to be a responsible pet owner. We don't just, you've got to go fend for yourself. We want to be a resource and provide those resources usually through the internet and our web pages, so they're readily available for the public.
One of the challenges I've seen friends of mine having is trying to find a veterinarian. Got a friend just adopted a dog, but the problem they had was, I can't find a good veterinarian that would take care, will see after my dog. Do you have any suggestion to that? What should they look for in a good one?
I think, and I worked for a private veterinarian for over a decade. Much like when you're looking for a doctor to take care of your family members, use that same approach to look for a veterinarian to take care of your pet. You want to find a veterinarian clinic that's physically accessible to you, that is, and different veterinarians offer different services and have different price points. So look for a veterinarian that's in your price range and call and talk to the receptionist. They can give you a good scope of what the veterinarian services are, how they function, kind of what the philosophy of the practice is. And there are specialty practices for different issues. There are specialty practices just for cats, because a lot of cat veterinarians specialize now, so that they're giving a good experience to the cat patient and the cat family, because it can be traumatic for a cat to go in and sit in the waiting room next to a dog that's barking and carrying on. So there's a much more availability of specialty and price and location now than there was 25 years ago.
What can the community do to help you guys?
I think the biggest thing they can do for us is learn about us. Don't go with the old assumptions that existed 10, 15 years ago about how we did business. We want to get every stray animal back home as quickly as possible. Once we can't get them back home, and if we can determine that they are safe to be in the community behaviorally and that they can be rehabilitated medically, we want to get them adopted. We want to get them rescued. We want to get them out of our facility and into a transitional home or permanent home as quickly as possible.
I know for Cox Media, we have been really hard getting involved with this, because we're finding out from our listening audience, people love cats, people love dogs. Sometimes we just need to educate them.
Yes.
And that's what this program is about, is educating them.
Yes.
Because they want a dog, they want a cat. You hear them talk about it all the time. The child is saying, "Mom, can I have a cat? Dad, can I have a cat? Dad, can I have a dog? And you see this and you hear this, you go like, boy, time has changed. they looking for another family member to be a part of the family.
But don't parents just be aware, as a parent now, as a grandparent myself, don't fall into that trap that your kids go, if you get it for me, I'll take care of it and I'll do all the work for it. That is never going to be true. The parents are still going to have to do all the work. So we'll go into that knowing it ahead of time.
But the parents fall in love with the pet themselves.
Yep.
They do.
They do. They go like, like a friend of mine, I'm going to walk the dog. I thought you said the kid was going to walk the dog. You walking the dog more than the kid is.
It becomes my dog and my cat.
Exactly.
Yes, it's my daughter's dog or cat as my cat and my dog.
Let's talk about volunteers.
Yes, sir.
How do they go about being a volunteer?
Go on our website, fill out the form, put in the application to be a volunteer. Of course, with the county, there's a little bit more steps to it because you have to get screened by the county, and then we'll get you in. We have people who volunteer to walk dogs, spend time with the cats, make toys for the cats. We have people who come in and do administrative work for us. We have folks come in and do all vast array of things. So if you've done something in your professional career that you enjoyed and you just want to do it here and there, odds are we can figure out how to help you with that and spend that time with us.
Okay. Amanda, anything you want to share before we wrap it up? And Doug, I'll come to you too as well, that you want to share with our listening audience about where you work at and what they can do to help?
Yes. I just want to, just ask our community to definitely check out our shelter. We have so many animals that are in need of a home, especially for the holiday season. So if you're looking for a new dog or a new cat, definitely check out Broward County Animal Care. You can view all of our animals online at broward.org/animal.
Doug?
I think the only thing I would add is remember should be your first option for adoption. We should be your first option for fostering and volunteering. And if you hear or you're still hanging on to those old myths about how animal shelters only euthanize or they only do this or that, come in and visit us. We are open 7 days a week, 11 to 6. Walk in the front door, look around the facility, and you're not going to meet any staff that is more dedicated to saving the lives of animals than what we have at Broward County Animal Care.
Yes,
I'm glad you brought that myth up because that's been a myth for a long time, thinking that when you take them there, they're going to die.
Right.
And I'm glad that myth began to go away and people began to see it differently and hear it differently.
We never, ever euthanize any animal for space or time. We do euthanize for medical issues that we cannot treat and rehabilitate. And we also euthanize if behaviorally an animal is too aggressive and not behaviorally safe to not put people at risk if they go back out on the street.
Well, I want to say thank you, Doug, and thank you, Amanda, for stopping in. You've been listening to Community Matters on the Maestro. We've been talking with Broward County Animal Care, and here we want you to become an animal care yourself. It's a place you want a cat, you want a dog, you want to make sure you go and visit them. And Doug, before I wrap it up, give them the phone number and give them the website, please.
BrowardCounty.org/animal. And Broward County uses the 311 system to contact the shelter by phone.
Did you guys, before I wrap it up, do you guys get any dogs that handle blind people?
We do not. We do not handle service dogs.
Okay.
But there are people who've adopted our animals and then trained them to be service
dogs.
dogs.
Okay.
But that's an individual program that they have to pursue outside of us.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming in and sharing this information. Always remember what I say when I wrap up. We play a lot of music, but we're not about music. We're about informing our people here at our communities about great information such as what Doug and Amanda have shared with us. I want to say thank you and have a Cox Media for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You've been listening to The Maestro on Community Matters.